Hi everyone, my name is Tamid Saleh and welcome to this week's episode of Football Friday. If you haven't already, then please do subscribe as I release weekly videos. Last week, I discussed whether or not PSG were better off selling Neymar. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link up here somewhere and also in the description below. This week, I'm going to be looking at if Virgil van Dijk deserves to win the Ballon d'Or. Without further ado, let's roll the intro.
Here he is again. That's astonishing. It's absolutely world.
Does Virgil van Dijk deserve to win the Ballon d'Or this year? If you had made that prediction at the beginning of last season, it would have been a bit of a bold prediction. You might have been laughed at. But yeah, it looks like it could happen now. He is in fact the favourite to win the Ballon d'Or. Lionel Messi is in second place with Cristiano Ronaldo making up the top three. They are followed by a Liverpool trio of Alisson Becker, Mo Salah and Sadio Mane. The high presence of Liverpool players, running for the Ballon d'Or is of course due to the fantastic season they had, both in the Premier League and the Champions League. They fell short by 1 point to Man City in the Premier League, but they still amassed an amazing 97 points. And they finished their season off with a fantastic Champions League run, especially that second leg against Barcelona. And yeah, they lifted the top European trophy for the 6th time in their history. This caps off a remarkable turnaround under Jurgen Klopp, as in the last 4 seasons, he has transformed Liverpool from pretty much almost mid-table standard in the Premier League to, of course, European champions. Remarkable job by Jurgen Klopp, and I think he deserves to win the Champions League, as he failed to do so last year in the final, of course. And after the tight Premier League title race this year that they fell just short, I feel it was well deserved by Jurgen Klopp. So now, looking at the Ballon d'Or and its history, it has been sort of like a Messi and Ronaldo show for the last 10 years, bar last year. They won it consecutively between themselves between 2008 and 2017. Every single year, the winner was either called Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. They won it 5 times each, and to put that into a bit of perspective, no one else in the history of the Ballon d'Or has won it more than 3 times. So yeah, they've both won it 5 times. Fantastic achievement. Last year, of course, it was won by Luka Modric after winning the Champions League with Real Madrid and leading Croatia to the World Cup final. They did fall just short, but yeah, he carried that team really well. Looking at recent winners of the Ballon d'Or, it does seem to be won mainly by attacking players or attacking midfielders, as goals seem to be the main, category to win this award. The last defender to win the Ballon d'Or was Cannavaro in 2006. So yeah, over a decade ago, after he captained Italy to the 2006 World Cup. Another category that seems to define whether or not you're going to win the Ballon d'Or is winning the Champions League. As if you look at the last 12 seasons, 9 of the players that have won the Ballon d'Or have also won the Champions League that year. The only exceptions was Lionel Messi in 2010. He scored 60 goals that year. Lionel Messi again in 2012, where he scored that astonishing 91 goals. And Cristiano Ronaldo in 2013, where he scored 66 goals. So yeah, it does seem like, scoring goals is also very important, as well as winning the Champions League. The winners of last season's Champions League was, of course, Liverpool. So Virgil van Dijk falls under this category. And the Ballon d'Or seems to be based on the previous season. I know it is a sort of like a calendar year achievement, but yeah, the voting takes place in October with the winner announced in December. So it does mainly fall for the previous season. I'm now going to look at a few stats for Virgil van Dijk last season that may prove why or why not he deserves the Ballon d'Or. Now, Liverpool, of course, paid a transfer record fee for a defender. They paid £75 million to bring Virgil van Dijk to Anfield. This was initially, mocked at and seen as a silly amount for a defender, but has it been proven a great decision now? Of course, since then, the price of defenders has gone up as well, with Man City signing Laporte for 60 million, Manchester United recently signing Wan-Bissaka, who's a right back, for 50 million, and I'm even hearing that Harry Maguire is being valued at above 80 million by Leicester City. So yeah, the prices have rocketed since that deal. So it looks like that 75 million Liverpool paid for Virgil van Dijk was a bargain. Van Dijk, as I'm sure you all know, an amazing defender, but also a great leader. He seems to have transformed that leaky Liverpool defence he came into, and has got his other defenders and centre-backs like Matip and Gomez playing at a much higher level, which of course is easier when you've got someone like Van Dijk standing next to you. The main focus for Liverpool before Van Dijk was signed was of course the defence. They already were scoring plenty of goals, however they were leaking loads as well. Since Virgil van Dijk has come, this has all changed. If you look at last season, Liverpool only conceded 22 goals, Premier League goals, that is, all season. That is the lowest amount conceded in the league by any team in Europe's top 6 leagues. Van Dijk played a crucial part in this. He played every single game in the Premier League last year, and he only missed out on 35 minutes game time, which was because he had to be subbed off in the second half due to injury against Southampton, which Liverpool won 3-0. But yeah, he played the full 90 minutes in every other game. So yeah, he was a crucial part of that success. This is a stat that many of you probably already have heard, as it's very interesting. But Virgil van Dijk wasn't dribbled past at all last season. He was the only player to have played over 1,000 minutes of football and not be dribbled past. The last time a player went past him was in March 2018, and since then he's made 64 appearances for Liverpool. Amazing stat. Van Dijk has more clean sheets than any other defender in Europe's top 5 leagues with 20. He also has the most passes with 3,037. And also he's got the highest percentage of duels won, 76.3%. So yeah, just top of every category pretty much last season. And he was capped off by Virgil van Dijk, of course, winning the PFA Player of the Year. However, Van Dijk seems to think he doesn't deserve it. I'm going to read what he said after winning the Champions League. This was during an interview. Van Dijk said, "Messi is still the best player in the world. I think he deserves it. The Ballon d'Or is not something I'm thinking of, but if it happens, then of course I'll take it. But I don't think there's a case Messi is still the best player in the world." So, you know, a very humble interview that Van Dijk gave there. And yeah, he's saying that, you know, Messi deserves it, but he could just be being polite, because I'm sure any player in the world wants the Ballon d'Or for themselves. The downside to Van Dijk's season was, of course, he could not win the Nations League with Netherlands. They lost 1-0 in the Nation League final to Portugal. However, it's, you know, the Nation League, it's still a tournament, you know, that's beginning. It's not like the World Cup or the Euros or established as them yet. So it is, for me, a minor blip. He, of course, still won the Champions League, which is the top club trophy available, and just fell short in the Premier League. I want to now look at the closest rivals Van Dijk has in terms of winning the Ballon d'Or this year. And it doesn't get much closer than Lionel Messi, who's second favourite. He had a fantastic season, albeit, you know, it was a bit of a fantastic individual season. With Barcelona, he only, and you know, I don't mean this lightly, he only won the La Liga. Their main focus was, of course, winning the Champions League, as if you recall, Messi had that incredible stadium announcement thing where he was saying that we want to win the one with the big ears, as he called it. So yeah, unfortunately they had a fantastic first leg against Liverpool, but in the second leg, I mean, how many of us saw that coming? Liverpool without Salah, without Firmino, without, you know, a lot of players, and then Robertson had to go off injured. It was what a performance for Liverpool turning it around. And of course it meant another second leg embarrassment for Barcelona following last year's 3-0 loss to Roma. They also lost in the Copa del Rey final. Looking at Messi's stats, he scored 51 goals in 50 appearances last season for Barcelona. That is a goal every 78 minutes he played, which is incredible. But yeah, that's his main claim to the Ballon d'Or this year. It was the number of goals he scored, as after the club season finished, his international season or international, competition he played with Argentina, which was the Copa del Rey, ended in disappointment again. They lost in the semi-final 2-0 to Brazil. So still no international trophies for Lionel Messi. Looking at Cristiano Ronaldo, he did not live up to, his normal standards he was producing at Real Madrid for about 10 odd years now. He scored only 28 goals. I say only, but take that as more of a respect to Ronaldo, because in the last 8 seasons prior, he had scored at least 40. So yeah, he scored 28 goals. His most memorable performance was probably the hat-trick he scored against Atletico in the second leg of the Champions League, which turned the tie around. Yeah, he seems to always perform really well against Atletico. Memorable night for Ronaldo and Juventus, but they did not win the Champions League. However, Cristiano Ronaldo can say that he won a club trophy and an international trophy, as he won the Serie A with Juventus and went on to lead Portugal to the Nations League inaugural trophy. So in the honours department, Ronaldo, he's had a fairly good season. And finally, I want to look at Van Dijk's teammate, Alisson Becker. Now, earlier in the video, of course, I said that Van Dijk came in and transformed the defence. But Alisson Becker needs to be, thanked or respected just as much because of the impact he has had. As you know, Liverpool, or after that dismal performance by Karius in last season's Champions League final, they really needed a world-class goalkeeper, and a world-class goalkeeper they got. They paid a record fee for a goalkeeper, which was 67 million they paid to Roma for Alisson Becker. The funny thing is, I think this was broken within 2 weeks, as Chelsea then signed Kepa for 70 million. Alisson Becker kept 21 clean sheets in the league, which was the highest out of any of Europe's top 5 leagues. He was conceding a goal every 155 minutes or so, which was also the best out of all goalkeepers in the top 5 leagues. His standout performance was that save, that last minute save he pulled off against Napoli. Liverpool, of course, were winning 1-0 and they needed a victory in the last game of the group stage of the Champions League. Otherwise, they were out. And in the last minute, Alisson Becker pulled off a fantastic save. And it's funny because after that match, Klopp said in an interview that if he knew Alisson Becker was this good, he would have paid double. So yeah, a great performance from Alisson Becker that night. And of course, like Van Dijk, he went on to win the Champions League with Liverpool. And in addition to that, he also won the Copa America with Brazil. The last goalkeeper, and the only goalkeeper, however, to win the Ballon d'Or was Lev Yashin in 1963. So, we've had some great keepers since then, with like Buffon or Casillas that I can remember lately. But yeah, no goalkeeper has won the Ballon d'Ors in over 50 years. For me, these 4 are the most likely to win the Ballon d'Or. And I think out of these 4 and what they've achieved, personally, Van Dijk deserves the Ballon d'Or this year. He's led Liverpool and he's transformed the back line, alongside Alisson Becker, it must be said. But yeah, some incredible stats for Van Dijk. He, of course, won the PFA Player of the Year. No one's dribbled past him all season. And yeah, that Liverpool defence, from being one of the shakiest that I've recently seen to being one of the strongest defences in all of Europe. Of course, their front 3 fired on all cylinders again this year, with Sadio Mane and Salah sharing their Premier League Golden Boot with Aubameyang. So yeah, I've presented a case for each player, and I've told you as well that I believe, looking at everything, Virgil van Dijk deserves the Ballon d'Or this season. However, if you have a different opinion, or you might even agree with me, please leave a comment below. I love to hear your opinions on who you think will win the Ballon d'Or, as I respond to most, if not all, comments as well. Like I've said earlier, please do subscribe for more videos like this. I do release weekly content, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you very much.
Game, set, and match. Game, set, and